Alright, well, before this podcast, I just wanted to apologize for not posting for a few weeks. We didn't have, all of my friends and me just haven't had enough time to do anything, really. We've been really busy, so, yeah, so I apologize for the late E3 conference, summary sort of thing. But, yeah, so, also, I have completely finished the game I was talking about last episode. Well, it's not completely finished, but it's a game for a friend who's going to be making his own game, and I'm going to be making it while he comes up with the story and everything. So it's not going to be updated for a long time, and it's going to be, right now it's just the prototype. It's just for him to see and tell me something, just show me what to do and I can do that. But anyways, yeah, so if you want to see what the main mechanics are kind of going to look like, you can check it out, but there's nothing really to do right now. I'll post the link in the description. I'll also post our website link in the description for any of you who want to check that out. And yeah, so in this episode we mostly talk about E3 stuff, so if you really don't care about that kind of stuff, it's not really important, because it's already 3 weeks late, so you don't have to watch it. But anyways, enough of my rambling, let's get into the episode. Hello everyone, welcome to the Technical Difficulties Podcast. I am here with Matthew, say hi.
Hello.
So, how's your day been going?
Decent. I've done a lot.
Well, it's summer, so,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here, but, so, I'm guessing you haven't watched E3 since you don't really care.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the E3s. I just don't care too much about most games that come out.
Yeah.
I usually just wait a while till they're $30 and I just look into them.
Yeah.
I don't like paying like $60 usually.
Yeah, well.
So that means I just don't pay attention to any of these three games.
Yeah. Well, today you're gonna learn about them. So.
Alright.
So there's a new. So let's talk about the Sony conference, which was by far my favorite. They had like full-on orchestra sitting right there. Actually, it was a symphony. They had like it right on stage. It was doing all the music. It was amazing. It sounded really good. But one thing they announced is a new God of War.
Yeah, I'm not too interested in that because I did hear about it, but I just couldn't really care too much because I think the first God of War game is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I didn't go other one because I just needed the first one. That's it.
Yeah. Well, it's apparently supposed to be about. It's actually Norse. It's more Norse based instead of Greek. But
yeah, I did hear about that. I did hear it was more Norse based, not really about that Greeks or Romans or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was more. It was kind of. I've seen a little bit of the first few, and they're kind of Greco-Roman, kind of Greek. I don't know. I honestly haven't checked them out. I've been watching them because, there's the new one coming out, and I kind of want to play that. But from what I've seen, it's about the God of War, Kratos, trying to become human by, having a son. His son's helping him become human, and he's helping his son, beef up and be a man, from what I've heard.
Well, that definitely sounds like a plot. That's super interesting, definitely. Yeah, the game does not seem like plot matters too much.
Yeah, I think most of those games are mostly gore and, all that.
Well, they're good combo, action fighting games. They're not really fighters. I don't know what you call the genre.
It's more of a hack and slash, to be honest, but
I guess.
Yeah, so the what was it? I forgot, but it looked kind of cool, and yeah. They also had a, what was it? hold on. While I'm looking up the summary for it, let's talk about the E3 conference, which is kind of boring.
Alright, what about that?
Nothing really much. They had a new Watch Dogs. I think it was the EA press conference.
Oh yeah, but you know, E3 or Ubisoft E3 is never really a big excitement because like, oh, it looks good. But then when it comes, there's always a chance it's going to be horribly outdated and awful.
Well,
because they tend to make their trailers, they tend to beef them up graphically. So when they actually come out, they're just not even close to as good. And they make it look good that everyone just pre-ordered it.
yeah, it kind of looks like it's just going to be a remake of the first one.
Well, nothing like the first one, from what I've seen.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay, because the gameplay footage they have actually released, it still doesn't look like it's going to be as good as it does in the trailer or the gameplay. But I still can see that there is big differences between the first one, and it does seem like they're actually trying to improve on the first one. Like, because the car physics in the first one were just awful, and they did try to show in the gameplay footage in the trailer that those were improved, although
still not.
I heard something about like you could still see in the trailer though the water physics did not work when the car was pushed into the water.
Yeah,
the car was kind of absorbed into the water.
Apparently, we're talking about the Ubisoft conference, so whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, we'll just talk about Ubisoft. It's fine.
Alright, so, yeah, there is, one thing I saw that was interesting is the new South Park game, which looks...
That actually has a chance of being good because that doesn't seem like a game they would need to lie about at all.
Yeah, I've seen the first one. The first one was great. The, new one, they're totally remaking the combat system, which I really like. I think a lot more games should try that, where they just take a big part of the game and completely change it every other game.
Well, I mean, that's not good because, like, then is it truly a sequel? Really? Because if they change the entire gameplay, then it's not really a sequel.
Well, when it's something like that, I think sequels have to do more with, like, the plot and everything, unless, of course, it's, like, totally different gameplay and everything, but we're just talking about the combat here, something like that. I think that it's still going to be a sequel, but no, that's kind of more of a philosophical thing that you kind of decide on your own.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah. So,
now, what other games did they have?
well, they had the Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is basically like...
Isn't it VR Star Trek?
Yeah, it's like a simulation of just, being the captain or, being one of the other people there and just flying the ship, kinda. It's VR, so... I never really got into Star Trek. I have the whole, like, original series on VHS, but I just never got around to watching it, so...
I've just really... I don't know, the idea of Star Trek never really entertained me. Maybe it's just because their suits aren't flashy enough, maybe that's my problem.
Yeah. I kinda like Star Wars, like, I know people are gonna hate me, but Star Wars, I mean, I kind of liked it, I mean, it should...
Well, which one did you see?
What?
Which one did you see?
I've actually seen all of them, every single one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, which one was your favorite?
My favorite was probably the new one, but that's because it has a ton more action and everything.
Yeah, I guess that would matter, because I remember, I didn't watch the prequels, I just ignored them, I just watched...
Good idea.
I liked the originals,
yeah,
they were slow some points, but I feel they're good enough.
Yeah, I know George Lucas was, man, I am stuttering today. I know George Lucas focused more on the story rather than action and, bloody gore and everything.
Well, he also focused on using too much green screen in, prequels.
Yeah.
Like, it was so hard for the actors to actually act, because a lot of the scenes, they weren't even in the same room as each other.
Really?
Their emotions were completely different. Yeah, because it was just green screen.
That's...
like, half the time.
Man, they must be pretty good actors because I couldn't tell. I could tell.
No, their acting was pretty boring in that film, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the original three. I'm talking about the prequels.
yeah, I know. Oh, and they did a Just Dance thing, kind of cringy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, kind of cringy, kind of weird, kind of like, okay, you got a new Just Dance. Whoopee, whoop-de-doo.
Well, yeah, I
never
can't
expected
imagine that's going to be their big blockbuster hit. I imagine that's just something they're doing on the side, basically.
Yeah. So back to Sony. They finally announced the release date for The Last Guardian. Which
Okay,
is gonna
they've been doing that for a while, so it might get pushed again.
Yeah, it's actually pretty close. It's October 25th, so and it's been in development for so long. I'm sure it's gonna get through it this time. I personally haven't checked it out too much, but
I mean,
it looks like a beautiful game.
That's what people were saying with Duke Nukem at first. You know, it was like 2003 or something. People were going, "Oh, this new Duke Nukem. It's gonna come out like next year," and then like 2011, okay, game finally released. Here's your Duke Nukem game that you've been waiting for. Oh, and guess what? It was crappy because we took so long to develop it.
Yeah, that's kind of the danger with some of those games, but
yeah, and because I went through so many changes, it was just hard for them.
Yeah, plus didn't they go through like 5 developers?
No, they kept the same developer the entire time.
Oh, okay. I must be thinking of a different game.
Yeah, because Duke Nukem's that Duke Nukem always been developed by 3D Realms, I believe it was. They made they made their newest game actually, which was not an E3 game. I'm just gonna mention it real quick. Was also a 3D game, even though while the earlier ones weren't really 3D, they're just 2D look like 3D.
Yeah, it was just
it was Halloween 3. That was just completely 2D.
Yeah. So, they also have the PlayStation VR. Yay, I'm totally gonna buy that because I totally have the money, but they're gonna have a Batman VR game. You're breaking up.
Yeah, I just don't care about VR too much.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I really liked about VR was the HTC Vive, like the job simulator games. I really liked those.
Those were horribly overpriced for a while.
Really?
Like $15 or no, it was like $30, and they switched to $15 because I don't know, it just was overpriced, but they thought it was going to be like more than it really was, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not worth $30. That's a $15.
And then also there's like this flight control game for VR, $45 for some reason, even though it's a pretty novel thing. You can get a free version of it, like that's not VR. So, you know.
It's like, look, it's VR. There's barely any games like us, so you better pay a lot extra for it. But
yeah, and even though they're pretty novel, like this is like I'm pretty sure one game is just chair in a room, and it's like $15, and you just look at a chair.
That's like the new grass simulator. But anyways, so there's a new Spider-Man game, and back in the day when there's like PS2 and everything, I was in love with the I forgot which Spider-Man game it was, but
Spider-Man 2?
I think so, but yeah, I watched a little like pre and post conference kind of talk show, and they were talking about how if they don't get the web swinging right, it's gonna suck, and I agree with them, because when it comes to Spider-Man games, if the web swinging isn't right, then it's like game over.
Yeah, and the past 3 Spider-Man games have not had good web swinging, so that's why they've all kind of just sucked.
Yeah.
Well, no, the newest one actually, that sucked especially because shadows didn't even work in that game. That's like how underdeveloped it was. They have working shadows.
Man. Yeah, wow. But, yeah, so like, I didn't even play the game for its story, Spider-Man 2. I know the story was pretty decent. I liked it, but
Well,
when
the
I was
story
young,
is kind of strange because
yeah,
I mean it's like that was an afterthought, definitely.
but
The story.
to a kid, it was kind of like, ooh, I gotta fight this guy and race this guy. This is pretty fun, but
Well, I feel every boss was too easy except the final boss. It was actually a really good challenge.
oh, okay, well, yeah, when I was a kid, I sucked at video games, and I still kind of do, so I didn't get past that, like, race with the electric guy.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyways, so, like, I sometimes even still play that game. I mean, it's just so much fun to web swing and climb the
Yeah,
buildings.
they had the momentum right. They had the swings. They're like the web shooting right. You know, it was all
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I like climbing up that giant blue tower and then just jumping off and then waiting till the
Isn't that
very
like
last... What?
Isn't that like some sort of New York tower?
I don't remember. I think it was like some kind of... I think it was like... I don't remember, but... Yeah, I'd jump off and wait till the last second to get a web out, and it was so much fun.
Well, okay, I don't know if it's the Empire State Building or not because I don't remember if actually.
I don't think it actually had that.
Yeah, because I don't. Is the Empire State Building like copyrighted? Because I heard that was a thing a while ago.
Yeah, I don't...
You just
It
didn't
might
want
be.
it.
It might be copyrighted, but I don't think it's...
I mean, I don't think it's possible, but there's always a chance because
Yeah, I mean, YouTubers are trying to copyright like basic words, so I mean, anything can be copyrighted about now.
I guess a building's actually reasonable because you don't want somebody making, oh, well, I'm just gonna make my own Empire State Building.
So this is the part I'm pretty excited for. So there's this game, I believe it's called Death Standing, and I'm not sure if you've ever played PT.
Well, it's impossible because I don't own a PS4.
Oh, okay. Well, have you ever at least seen it?
Yeah, I know. I also seen somebody play through Layers of Fear, one of the worst horror games I've ever seen.
Yeah, well,
And the reason I mention that is because they literally ripped files from PT.
wow. Well,
Like, you know the lady, that one lady?
Oh, yeah.
They literally just took that animation and then just put it in their game.
Wow. Well, so what happened was with PT was, I guess, like, they were trying to do a thing where their company was bought out, so they couldn't make Silent Hill games anymore.
Well, no, the company wasn't, like, bought out, I don't believe. It was just that Kojima had, like, a falling out with Konami.
Oh, okay.
So, and then since they held the rights, he couldn't make the game after he left.
Yeah, so they tried to make Silent Hills, adding the plural, but that didn't work out because, it's too close to the name. I'm pretty sure I haven't looked into this very much because that was like 3 years ago, I think.
Hey, who's the guy who actually made the original Silent Hill game?
I have no idea, but I still have yet to check out a Silent Hill game because I haven't been able to find any good Let's Plays of them. But if this game comes out,
Well, you don't watch a Let's Play of a Silent Hill game. You get yourself a copy of Silent Hill 1, 2, or 3, whichever is available to you, and you just play it.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure those games are going to be really, really hard to find. So at this point,
They're
anyways.
super easy to find. You could go to like Game Crazy, which surprisingly there still are some here.
Oh,
You
wow.
just get one.
Are they on? What console are they on?
PS2.
Alright,
Well,
I might.
They have a remastered version that's digital for the PS4, I believe. Just get that.
Yeah, once I get my PS4, I might do that. But anyway, so
Oh, the actual original does look better, surprisingly.
yeah. So anyways, so they basically are gonna be doing the same game. Just they're gonna be like just changing. They changed it up a lot from what I've seen. Like they still have the baby. They still have Norman Reedus. But it's like at a beach. There's like a bunch of dead stuff, and it's just really weird. But
Well, also
as
that
ever.
reminds me of how Resident Evil thought, our new game is just going to be PT.
yeah,
They're like, why?
I
You
like
go
the
from-
idea, but it's like,
I hate the idea because when I play Resident Evil games, I want at least some way of shooting and defending myself.
yeah.
I don't want to be I have to run away from monsters now, just like it was Outlast or something.
Yeah. Well, there is a new Outlast, and I've seen it. It's
Which
pretty
is
scary.
stupid because Outlast sucks. I have to argue on that. It's just jump scares. It's not scary, and it's completely like buggy. Like it's a really buggy game, and it's like some of the like really important things that you would think would get fixed like almost immediately, but they weren't. Like I saw somebody speed run the game in the first game in 12 minutes because they just walked through a wall. Like you could just walk, you just go through this wall.
Wow.
Drop down all the way to like one of the last corridors in the game. It was that easy.
Well, for me, I'm very claustrophobic, so for that game, it was like total terror for me because it's like I just can't handle like being trapped in a building and stuff. That stuff freaks me out. So that was, for me, that was a really good
That's
horror
not
game.
really claustrophobia.
Well, yeah,
Really
but I am
building.
claustrophobic, but it's sort of like that.
Well, okay, being in a building, it depends whether the building is small or big, and that was a pretty big building.
Yeah, but it's like a maze and but anyways, so I'm just scared of that and claustrophobia and whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say. But
I guess.
yeah, but anyways, so it's supposed to be like the new PT, but it'll actually be released hopefully.
Well, I like.
I think
I
that'd
also
be.
don't really care about horror games. I'm not a big fan of modern horror games, so I probably will still not like it.
Yeah, I honestly just if it gets good reviews, and I already know the developer is like a genius because I've seen some of his games and they're
Kojima? You believe Kojima's a genius?
well, I mean like he's not how do I explain this? He's just really really good at making the story from
Well,
what I've seen.
He is not. I say he's better at making gameplay, or at least used to be. Metal Gear Solid 5 was a joke of a game, especially for Metal Gear Solid, a game with like a big legacy to it, basically.
Which one
Where
was
the
that?
entire Metal Gear Solid
Which one?
5, the new one.
Oh, Phantom Pain?
Yeah, like
Oh.
that game was basically most of the time just, oh, go to this place, capture this place. Oh, go to another place. And it's just do the same things
Yeah.
over and over again. And his writing is some of his least, like, he is not capable of writing an actual story.
Yeah.
If you listen to anything his editor says, which they seem trustworthy considering they spent a lifetime of trying to be good at editing,
Yeah.
of which he hasn't done, they said that they find errors and stuff in almost all of his works, and the way he writes like somebody who's still in high school. Like, who's doing, like, B's in language arts. Or, like, well, you don't have language arts in, like, high school. You have, like, English, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So anyways, a new game is also being released. I don't really care for it. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn, and let me tell you my thoughts on it. So, when I first saw it, I'm like, ooh, another survival game. I'm totally gonna play that. Anyways, so it kind of has an interesting concept. I just don't.
Wait, a survival horror game?
No, it's not survival horror. It's just plain survival. It's like the new Ark Survival Evolved.
Well, okay. Ark isn't really a survival game. Like, it's just
It's not?
have a world. No, basically, not really. It's so, like, if it is a survival game, it's pretty easy, because, like, all you would have to do to survive is hide in, like, the, like, easiest spawn point, and just make a giant fort there so no one else can spawn there, and boom, game's done. But it's more of a PvP focused game, where you just go around and make stuff so you can kill other people, and you keep killing other people. That's basically it.
Yeah. Well, so anyways, you're a caveman, from what I've seen, and I guess you're fighting robots, like robotic
Okay.
creatures and stuff. So it kind of has like sci-fi and like all these genres mixed together. It's like, no. Plus the voice acting is terrible.
But if I wanted a survival robot game, why wouldn't I just go play Sir, You Are Being Hunted?
Oh, I
That's a
haven't
pretty
heard that.
game. It's only like $15.
Yeah, well, the voice acting is terrible. They're like, go over there. Go get the thing. It's like,
Well, does it actually have like a story?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I know in Sir, You Are Being Hunted, that game doesn't, like, it has a story, but that's not the main goal.
Yeah.
I say that Sir, You Are Being Hunted is pretty good.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna need see some footage of that game you're mentioning.
Yeah, well,
See if it checks out or if it's like the same concept in a way.
yeah. So, Quantic Dream. I'm not sure. I'm sure you've heard of this.
No, I haven't.
Alright, well, so it's like, it's at least trying to be the new Until Dawn game, but it's made by the guy who made, what's that game? Heavy Rain. Let me look up his name.
Oh, David Cage! David Cage, yeah! It's amazing! Because David Cage is one of the worst writers ever, and I'm glad he is making another game.
Alright.
His games are so hilarious, but he doesn't know it. He thinks he's actually making art, and he's just making a big joke. It's so good, like, when you do that.
Well,
You go Prophecies, you have that, and you have, you had, Beyond Two Souls, and then you have, like, that one game that the soundtrack was just David Bowie songs, although that was actually a good game somehow.
David Bowie, isn't that
David Bowie, he died this year, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that the guy who made, like, what was that song? Hold on. I know I wrote it down somewhere. Wasn't that guy the guy who made, Space Oddity?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
I mean, I never really got a good
Hold on.
chance to look at the work of David Bowie. Okay, well, okay. David Bowie, I just never got a chance to listen to his works, but I know I'll get around to it sometime.
Yeah. So anyways, so he's making a game where you're you're like some kind of, I guess, cyborg or something. You're like an AI, I guess. And so what you do is you're like a police officer, and in this game there's supposed...
Okay. I
Well,
got that.
Well, you're more like, I don't know, you're... In the trailer, you're like trying to save a guy from killing this little girl, but...
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so you're...
So, what else happens?
So it's trying to be the new Until Dawn, from what I've seen.
Hello, are you still even there?
Oh. Alright, sorry about that. Guess something crashed and went weird, but anyways, what were you saying?
Well, okay. So what happens? What happens in the rest of the trailer?
So, you're just like... You just try to save the girl, and they show you one ending, and then it's like, okay, but here's like 30 other endings that you could have gotten, and it just depends on how you do it. And it's like, okay, it's like another choice-based game, so you just gotta make your choices. But
here's the catcher.
yeah,
None of your choices really matter.
yeah, cough cough, telltale. But anyways,
Well, no, just David Bowie, because I'm pretty sure he was doing this before Telltale started their rampage of just, like, stop actually trying to make puzzle games and started to just make narrative-based games that didn't actually have narratives.
I actually really like The Walking Dead, but that's just me.
Oh.
Well, anyways, go on.
If they showed like 30 different endings for just one scene, It's probably going to be like the stupidest things, like, oh, you just took a step in this direction, get to get in this end now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it'll probably just be like, and when they do stuff, when it's like they go, oh, you could stand here or do that action, it probably won't matter either way. It'll probably be like, oops, you couldn't stand there because somebody pushed you, so you had to walk. So why was there even choice there? We don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it's...
An example of that actually happening was where Life is Strange, which was... I don't remember who made that, but they're trying the same thing. Agent. Oh, okay. So, what Telltale did in that game is they basically just made it so, like, you could try to shoot this guy, or you can put the gun down. So if you try to shoot him, there's no bullet in there, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. But, yeah, I kind of like I like that you think you're making choices, but I don't like that they actually have any effect. But honestly, I'm just there for the story. The stories are usually pretty good. But that's, I'm kind of I'm not very critical about stories, so that's just me. But so yeah,
okay.
that was complete. That was all of the Sony conference. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything about No Man's Sky, but that's coming out in about a month, so who cares? And yes, we're doing this like 3 or 4 weeks, or even a whole month late, so yeah. Welcome to the Technical Difficulties podcast.
So what else is there?
So, yeah, let's look at the E3 conference. So, they're making a new Titanfall.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Not a lot of people really cared about the first one.
Yeah, I played the first one.
I don't know if there's actually going to be enough people that care at this point for them for the game to even sell well.
Well, we'll see, but I've seen a lot of people promoting it, and I've actually like watched non-paid promotions, like non-paid, talking about the game thing. I can't word right now, but they said that it was actually really good. It had lots of content and was definitely going to be a good game, but
well, you always have to take into account, like, you shouldn't just trust people on their word.
Yeah.
When it comes like this, you should wait till the game's out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Sorry for the voice crack, and then well, it wasn't really crack, more of just voice stopped existing.
Yeah.
You should probably just wait till the game's out, see footage of it, and if you pre-order the game, don't play it right away. Wait like a day or two, and then if it's good, you can go play the game. If it's not, you go return it. You get all your money back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the first one I actually played, and I honestly think it was a pretty solid game. It just had a few things that needed to change, like it needed a single player campaign. Like, who really wants to do?
It just needed more content. I mean, that was like the biggest problem.
Yeah, they needed more guns.
After a day.
Yes.
Or no, not a day. That was over exaggeration. I'd say probably like a month or two, you would not care about the game at all.
I play it now and then, and it's still pretty fun. There's still like 1,000 people playing it. I'm pretty sure it's more now because Titanfall 2. But yeah, it's not too bad of a game. It just needs to be remade, or at least have a sequel that will fix all those problems. But I've heard good things about it.
The sequel is going to have a single player campaign.
What?
The sequel is going to have a single player campaign.
Yeah, I know that much, and I'm happy that they're doing that. So, another thing that's coming out is Battlefield 1, which I don't care what the reviews say, I'm getting that game.
That's always a bad idea, but carry on.
Have you heard about it at all? I'm sure you have, but...
Yeah, I've seen footage. I don't really care too much about it. I mean, it's like, oh, we're gonna make a game in World War One, and almost all the weapons are automatic. What's even the point?
Well...
Look, all I wish for is that the original Battlefront 3 would come out. then that's all that would matter. I would never buy an FPS again. Because that's a true FPS. And Free Radical, they were such a great company, and then they were just killed. Well, okay, they weren't such a great company. Like, their first game was Haze, that was garbage. But their second game was finished, and it was playable, and it was amazing. But they couldn't release it. Battlefront 3, or Field, I don't remember.
Battlefield 3?
No, Battlefront, like the Star Wars Battlefront.
Huh.
They had a one ready. It was ready to ship, and then LucasArts went into bankruptcy, and basically screwed them out of the contract, basically. They're like, oh, we're going to stop giving you money because we don't have money anymore. Then Free Radical couldn't sue them or anything because they didn't have money.
Yeah, well, that, oh my god, that sucks. That kind of makes me sad knowing we could have had a much better Star Wars.
Oh, and also the game had 64-player multiplayer. And, it also included, like battles that were spaced to land, where there would be like a 3 or like, I was like something like 3 or 6 player control, like those giant, like fleet ships, assault ships, you know, that all the ships would take off out of. And stuff like that would really cool, but sadly the game never came to be. And it would have came out in 2013.
Yeah.
It was so good, but LucasArts had to just go bankrupt, so.
Yeah. Alright, well, so what I think is that they can either do it really well or really bad. So I was watching a podcast about this actually a little like a week ago, and I'm just gonna take a quote from them. There was a lot of World War I was one of those wars where people were innovating a lot. They were trying to get like better guns, better tanks.
They also did that in World War II a lot.
Yeah, they were trying to, make a lot of things, and everyone knows when you're making a lot of things, there will be a lot of the weird things. And it wasn't common to have.
Oh, and they also did that in Civil War. It's almost like every big war they kind of just did that, you know. It's almost like it was required.
Yeah, but anyways, so
maybe, you know.
Yeah, so anyways, they were. What I hope for is that they'll just add in weirder guns, because I don't want just the regular SMGs, rifles, all that. I want to see weird guns. I highly agree with that. The people who said that, because that would make for it. That would make it.
Well, that's what I said earlier. Almost all the weapons in there are are just automatic. So
yeah.
That's stupid. They should all be like, well, we just took a shot. I have to spend some time reloading. Well, they should not be automatic. Maybe you just have some semi-automatics or something.
Well, there's a good balance between.
It's still like 3-shot burst thing. They're just like unautomatic rifles, That's pretty much all it should be. Except when you have like a turret, those actually were automatic.
Well, there's a good balance between good gameplay and good realism, and I think that what they
realism Battlefield game is definitely a thing.
Yeah,
that's definitely why people can jump out of jets, snipe the person in the other jet while they're in midair and just jump into their jet.
Yeah, but anyways, so
that's why people play those games for realism.
Yeah, but what I think is that if they find a good balance between having guns that people who are just coming back from like Battlefield 4 or Call of Duty Black Ops will come here and see these guns and then they'll just be able to use them. But there's also the other guns where once you're more into the game, you can start using the weirder guns that are less known and, just kind of cool, And I think if they had that would be like...
But the guns actually have to be better than the regular ones or else no one will use them.
Yeah. But if they have like... Well, they just have to they have to balance it, of course, but they just need to find a way to balance the regular guns with the weird guns, because if they just have all weird guns, then you can't really you can't just it's like you can't just have
So
like
what do you mean by weird guns?
like
What do you
like guns that you just wouldn't expect. Guns
like?
that,
What?
I don't know. I honestly haven't seen a lot of the World War One weird
How about
guns.
sausage guns? That's definitely not something I would expect.
What?
You just sausage guns, you know.
Well,
Those-
there's like a lot of just weird designs for guns and everything, and
What are there? I mean, what you would expect players to use, like the curved barrel? 'Cause that
Yeah.
was definitely useful and definitely practical.
yeah, let's look at this. So, let's see. So, there was a lot of. I know there's a lot of weird things they've been using, like weird weapons and all that. They had a gauntlet dagger. That's like Assassin's Creed stuff right there. Okay.
Okay, but they stopped using it because it was so ineffective.
Yeah, but
Okay, so you're gonna go, oh, we want weird weapons, but they're gonna be completely ineffective and useless.
well, not. Well,
And we're
there's
gonna
a lot
expect you
of
to use them.
World War One did not have a lot of guns. That's surprising.
It didn't. They had, like, Poland was like still using horses and cavalry by like World War II. So of course in World War One there wasn't a lot of guns, and that's why Battlefield One is gonna be awful because it's all guns. It's just guns.
Well, I mean, they have a few things.
And the guns they do have in World War One are like one-shot guns. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, the recording just randomly stopped. I think I need to fix a hotkey or something. But anyways, so I think from what I've seen, there's a lot of weird weapons and stuff. Like, man, there's like a screw drill. There's wow. Some of these.
but how is that
things,
going to be useful? You have to actually make a way for that to be useful.
yeah, and that's kind of a problem, to be honest. But I just wish they could find a way to do it. I mean, I honestly don't know how they would do it, but, you know, I'm not a game designer. I'm not meant for this kind of stuff. Plus, I haven't really looked too far into World War One, but I know that there's a lot of, I know for a fact there was a lot of weird inventions and stuff, and I'd like to see a lot of those come
Well,
in the game.
look, I already think there's a pretty decent World War One game out there. It's called Verdun. You can just go play that if you want a World War One game, because it's probably going to give you the most realistic experience.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so yeah, but that was about it for the EA conference. I mean, if you want to talk about FIFA, I mean,
No, no one cares about FIFA.
yeah. So the Bethesda conference was like, yeah.
Well, okay, they're like, hey, we know you all wanted Skyrim remastered. And it's like, we wanted Skyrim remastered. We all wanted, like, well, I can't say what we all wanted, but I just know no one wanted a remake of Skyrim, a game that's only 4 years old.
Yeah. But
That's
they
like
did it.
making Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and then like a month later going, we're gonna remake Call of Duty Black Ops 3 because it's such a cultural piece of just pure genius that it just needs to be remade already.
Oh, and sorry, I have to quickly switch back to the Battlefield 1 topic because I forgot to say this and it's really important.
Okay.
So, I was actually... Apparently, there's a few people who are angry because it's been leaked that there are going to be no options to be a woman in Battlefield 1, which I think is
Yeah,
stupid because...
That's actually realistic if there's no women, because there weren't women in World War One.
Well, actually, there...
Sure.
As far as combat goes, there was women, but, like, seeing, like, even one on the battlefield would be, like... That would just be ridiculous, because that's, like, inflating the numbers right there. You can't, there's only 5,000.
Yeah,
There's
well,
only
okay.
5,000 women total. And they only lasted a year, so.
Yeah, like it was more realistic for just like if you just keep it men, it's also easy for them.
Yeah.
And it's Well, I guess the argument really doesn't hold up for more realistic if we're playing about a game where you just run around shooting people
Well, I
and not
mean,
really caring about health.
with this game, they're kind of more trying to take a slightly more realistic approach, but still trying to keep the gameplay fun, from what I've seen.
Well, at this point, I can't see why they can't add women. I mean, okay, I know it isn't going to be realistic in the slightest, so I mean, they might as well just put women in there.
Yeah, but it's like... It's
A
those
game
kind of,
like Burden didn't, because, you know, it's actually realistic in a way. Except you'll just get killed if you go places they don't want you to go, which is really strange.
Well, I just think that they're trying to make a realistic game that they're trying to make a realistic game, and by adding these little things here and there, they're definitely
But I would say also though, who cares who you're playing as, because you're not looking at yourself ever.
yeah,
You're
that's
basically
true.
always just looking at people you're shooting. And do you really care if you're shooting a guy or a girl?
Yeah,
I don't think it matters.
yeah. Well, in a video game like that, anyways.
I don't even care if I'm just shooting rabbits, as long as the actual game is there.
Well, yeah, it's just apparently people are getting angry over this, and it's like, please, there was 5,000 women in World War One. And there's hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of men in World War One, and the women, not only that, only were in the war for a year. So the odds of seeing a woman in that war was like next to nothing. So there's no reason you should be getting angry over not being able to play as one. Because
Yeah, I guess.
if you're able to play as one, then there's gonna be like 4 per each match, and no, that can't happen. That's
Well,
not.
let's move on to the next topic.
Alright, well, yeah, let's move on before we get more people angry. But anyways, yeah, remastered Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity for me to play it, though. I'd like to play it.
Or you can just buy the original.
Yeah.
Or you just buy it all on PC.
Uh,
You just buy the game and all of its DLC for on sale for $10.
my
And
PC
you'll
won't
be
be able
fine.
to run it.
I'm sure it would. I see, it's only extensive as computer, your PC extensive as Gmod after you put on low
Oh, okay.
graphics.
Yeah, I might look at it, but they
And you
also
can all the mods. I mean, it's just stupid. Because you literally the only reason they're remaking it is so they can give it better graphics, and then there can be mods for it on the consoles. If you've been playing PC this whole time, you've basically had what they're going to give you the entire time. You've had better graphics, you've had mods, you've had all the DLCs. It's so stupid.
Yeah, well... Oh, sorry. Well, anyway, so they're also getting this kind of... I don't even want to say this, but Prey's getting a sequel.
Well, okay, but the actual Prey games were okay. The original was pretty good. The Prey remake was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't care if they make a new one.
Pretty sure I'm thinking of another game. Oh, this is the new one. So, apparently you awaken aboard Talos, a space station orbiting the moon in the year 2032. You are
Oh,
the
wait. Okay, this does not make sense. Okay, yeah, okay, nope. I don't want another Prey game then.
You are the key subject of an experiment meant to alter humanity forever, but things have gone terribly wrong. The space station has now been overrun by hostile aliens, and you are now being hunted. By the way, the game looks gorgeous, but I'm still...
But also, isn't there also just an alternative that has already been made years ago
Probably.
to this? You could just play System Shock.
What about Alien
Pretty cool.
Isolation?
Alien Isolation had some of the worst game AI I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
but
I don't
still...
think I'd ever want to play that.
Yeah, but it's still basically the same.
Yeah, I guess for a space support thing. But System Shock was better than both those games.
Yeah.
So, well, it's only been better than one of the games because the other one's not out yet.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so. And then they also showed us a card game. I guess it's based on the Elder Scrolls. I really don't care because I'm not big on card games.
Okay. And is that all from them?
Yeah. And last but not least is the mic. Actually, we have two more. Never mind. So there's the Microsoft conference. And
Okay.
they had a lot of stuff to show us. Not a lot of games, though. They were talking about the new Xbox One S and Project Scorpio.
Which are both stupid. It's them trying to act like consoles are still, like, next gen. And they're trying to treat, like, this Scorpio isn't going to be part of the next generation of consoles, but it really is. They're moving to next gen. Like, isn't the same generation as the Xbox One. And it's just that they can't keep up with PCs. So,
Yeah. They should really get over that.
consoles just shouldn't exist anymore. I mean, they serve no purpose. Why doesn't people just make PCs? They would probably be more profitable if they made PCs.
Yeah, well, it's just a part of gaming, so you have to deal with it. But anyways, yeah, looks Project Scorp. And for any of you viewers who are watching this video, I say sorry. I also say, if you don't know what the Xbox One S is, well, the Xbox One S is just going to be a smaller version of the Xbox One with a little bit better stuff.
Which should have been just the Xbox One on launch, really.
Yeah.
There's like, why does it have a power brick and is super large still, where the PS4 has the better graphical capabilities, and also has the power brick inside of it, and it's basically 2 times smaller.
Yeah. Well, and then there's Project Scorpio, which is just like a really beefed up Xbox One. And they also have the PlayStation 4 Neo, which hasn't really been talked about too much. So there's not much on that, but I know the Project Scorpio is more powerful. And the only reason really to get those, well, yeah, for Xbox 2, is to play with VR, because honestly, the only difference, you can't use VR on the PlayStation 4 as well as you can on the PlayStation Neo. Same can be said for the Xbox One S and Xbox One and Project Scorpio. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a VR system so they can play them, but they're also just kind of trying to get more money, I guess. But anyways, yeah, so I really didn't care too much about that.
What else did Microsoft do?
Hold on, I'm getting a call. I'll be right back. Hello? What's up? No, can't. Yeah. No, I can't. Because I'm running? Because I'm talking to a friend right now, so. What? Okay then. Don't know what that was about.
No. Who was it that called?
Alright, I'm back. Sorry. I was getting a call from one of my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright, so anyways, what were we talking about?
Well, no, you were the one that was talking.
Oh, what was I saying?
We're talking about Neo, I believe.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, just in my opinion, if you want to dabble with VR, go ahead and get those, but otherwise it isn't really necessary.
Alright, and what else did Microsoft do besides Scorpio and the S?
So they have the Sea of Thieves, which, good concept, from what I've seen, kind of bad execution.
Here's a good idea. Thief, made by Looking Glass Studios. It'd be a great idea, and maybe not get it made by some company that never had experience making a Thief game ever.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just actually get the people who made the original Thief games and get them to make another one.
Yeah.
It's not like that would print money or something. just even though the first two games printed money, the first two Thief games, nope, a third just wouldn't work. A third one by Looking Glass just wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, and then they announced a few more games. We Happy Few, Record, Scalebound, and I don't really care about any of those games, so we can.
Scalebound just isn't too exciting. I mean, you have a dragon. That's pretty much it. And then what was the other one? We Happy Few.
Yeah.
That seems interesting, but it's just I'm not going to care about it until it's actually finished.
Yeah.
Then I'll look into it more. But I've seen pre alpha footage, and it did not look great on terms of actual physics working and things like that. But it is alpha, so
yeah. And then,
if it was beta, they would be screwed because there's no fix any of that before release.
well, now let's talk about the Nintendo Garden thing. I don't even know what they were doing there, but
well, what did Nintendo do? They have Zelda and they have other.
They didn't really do anything other than Zelda stuff. And
oh, really? Huh?
It's called Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This time it's completely open world, and I'm actually pretty excited because this sounds cool. And from what I've seen,
this is all you on this.
Yeah,
I don't can say anything about it.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be a completely open world. It's basically Zelda meets Skyrim. The full map would take like 40 minutes for you to walk from one end to another, which is crazy. There's like 10 or 15, maybe even 20 dungeons. There's just so much to do in that. It's just like crazy, and it's a huge step forward for the franchise, and I'm very, very excited for that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so anyways, I guess I'll see you guys next Monday. Hopefully.
Ooh, Monday.
Yeah. So, see you later. Bye.
Bye.